Welcome, viewers, to Food, News, and Chews. What are we up to today, Jeremy?
Well, it looks like you got a big pile of homework for us in terms of our food news for this week. Lots of stuff that Sylvia's got here for us to sort through. That's food. We got two great guests, Linda and Anthony Lowry from God's Outreach in Richmond, Kentucky. It's a great story. Also, I'm going to teach you guys how to make the classic sugar baked hams.
You're going to
the
torch
ones
a
with
ham?
that crunchy crust on the outside. Everybody pays a lot of money for. Not mine. It's half the price.
Why do chefs choose Lyons Farm beef?
When I get things in the kitchen, I can tell like right off the bat. After I get done searing it or put it on the grill or roasting it or baking it or frying it or whatever I'm going to do, the second I cut into that thing, whether it's the resistance on the fork or just the way it kind of slides across the knife, it's got to be right on from the get-go. And it seems like this beef does that every single time.
Lyons Farm beef, available at Critchfield Meats and LyonsFarm.com.
Welcome to Kentucky's largest commercial restaurant equipment and supply store. Seaworth Superstore is a 15,000 square foot chef's treasure chest.
Seaworth Superstore is the store for those in the restaurant industry, churches, and catering. Find chefware, large equipment, refrigeration unit, about anything needed for a volume event. Seaworth Superstore, in business since 1954, offering free local delivery, so come on in and get hooked immediately.
And a complete line of chef apparel. Seaworth Superstore, located at 1403 Versailles Road and SeaworthSuperstore.com.
Here's a way to give 2 holiday gifts for the price of 1. Serve food that's prepared with ingredients made or grown in Kentucky. We call it Kentucky Proud, and that's your assurance of quality. When you buy Kentucky Proud, you also brighten the holidays for a Kentucky farm family. Find gift and recipe ideas at KentuckyProud.com. Kentucky Proud is funded in part by the Kentucky Agricultural Development Fund and is a program of the Kentucky Department of Agriculture. James R. Comer, Commissioner.
Advertise your product or service on shows like this one. Contact Media 7 Broadcasting today. Call 859-317-4565 or email sales@m7bg.com. Reach potential new customers in the Louisville, Lexington, and other central Kentucky areas. Get your new ad produced for free by Media 7's audio and video professionals. Call 859-317-4565 today and let Media 7 create a marketing plan for you.
Today's shoppers are informed. When shopping for the family meal, today's shopper chooses Critchfield Meats for fresh, all-natural quality meats, guaranteed. Make the right choice and visit our family before you feed yours. Critchfield Meats, the meat specialist, family owned and operated since 1969. That's a grade A choice, folks.
A European experience without leaving Lexington at Azure Restaurant and Patio. For lunch or dinner, enjoy excellent service and truly unique cuisine that will delight your senses. Unwind with award-winning cocktails or conduct business over a memorable meal. Every occasion is special at Azure Restaurant and Patio, located off Harrisburg Road in the Beaumont Center.
Welcome back, viewers. Jeremy, let's do some food news. What do you say?
You've got it for me every week.
Hey, this isn't about food, but just ask me why I'm so sexy.
And why is that, Sylvia?
Well, there's an article that just came out.
Yeah?
Why are psychopaths so sexy?
You know what?
Ask me why.
You know why is that?
Well, we're usually narcissistic, Machiavellian, and psychos.
You know, is that kind of like the bad boy complex? Like all the cute girls really like the the mysterious dark guys, kind of like those.
Yeah,
what is it? The vampires in that movie.
We use like clothes and all kinds of things to manipulate. Anyway, all right, let's move on to food. Maybe they use food too. You know.
Sparkle vampires.
Yeah, right. Yikes! It can't be true. Category. Sicilians don't eat fish. They live next to the Mediterranean Sea, for goodness sake.
They don't eat fish?
Hey, that was 30,000 years ago.
Oh, I
hey,
see.
they studied their bones.
I don't
and
think
they
that people walked 30,000 years ago. how do they know to fish if they can't even
They
walk,
didn't know how.
right?
Isn't that amazing?
Right,
that they had to learn how to fish. Maybe someday they'll be examining our bones and they'll find Twinkie residue
more than likely,
or something.
yes.
You know, the Twinkie controversy. We won't get into that, but anyway, hey, here's a news flash. Chef Jeremy just made 20 hams real happy. What'd you do?
Well,
this is past Saturday.
Yeah, we buried them for
This
the
is
hams.
news,
We hung
guys.
them into the attic to macerate for
Macerate?
for about
You're
12
kidding me.
months. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
No wonder they're happy. Hey, we better move on. We're on television, right? Okay.
Serious stuff, right?
Serious stuff. We have serious fun here, folks. Okay, here's one. Socializing as a political tool. Obama is being told by the news media to stop with the beer diplomacy. Remember when he tried to do that with that one fellow? Sure. Thomas Jefferson had the answer to the Middle East and everything else. Invite them to dinner. But he left something out.
Yeah, it'd be the bourbon, correct?
Yeah. Heck with beer, okay? but that's how you keep them happy, and you just keep them locked up, and we'd come to the solution of the Middle East. Actually, Thomas Jefferson did that and said that's how you do it. I mean, that's a cool idea. That's a real serious idea. People solve problems over food, Jeremy. You're a problem solver.
I'm more for solving over the food and the bourbon, so that's good.
The bourbon will take care of what the food, except it's maybe your pork belly and
Right, that's right.
bacon. How's about that? Here's a big story. I think this is a really interesting story to me. You don't have to be a locavore to be a foodie. You know, a lot of people think, what do you think of when you think of a locavore? What's a locavore? Tell our viewers what
we're
a
talking
locavore
about
is.
eating within 50 miles. You're wanting to grow your own food and buy things that are in a close radius and stay very, very healthy, very, very fresh. And that's in a very extreme term. Some locavores are pretty hardcore about it. You know, but in terms of eating healthy, I don't think that's necessarily the case. And especially we're talking about our themes today with God's outreach and people that just need food, not just necessarily organic or local, right? So when it comes to it, I mean, they're saying in this article that basically it's okay to eat frozen vegetables or canned vegetables.
Yeah, that they're actually okay.
Right. And I think
you're not going to die or anything like that.
You really have to agree with it because a lot of the things you hear right now about people is you have to eat all natural, organic, local. But if you're actually
plow
hungry,
your own fields, with a team of mules.
Get your hands really, really dirty in the backyard and grow your own food. But it doesn't have to be that hardcore. You know, I think frozen vegetables have a lot of nutritionist value. And if you're just looking for nutrition and food, these are good alternatives. These are things that you can use because not everybody has a locavore budget.
Well, yeah, because there is the argument that the locavore food costs more, and a lot of people can't afford that. So what they do is, viewers, they give up, and they say, well, you know, I'm not going to eat local, I'm not going to do any of those things because I just can't. And, you know, you go like to a farmer's market, and you can find good stuff and you know, inexpensive and feed families and all that kind of stuff. You
can find that those fresher foods are actually cheaper in a lot of senses, and what we've actually found is people don't buy those things. That's why it's really hard for them to produce food because they've forgotten how to grow food and use fresh ingredients. We're dependent on processed foods, things that make us kind of, you know, unhealthy, things that are
like
nutriently deprived.
They taste so good.
And nutritionally they're deprived. So you need to cut out the processed foods, eat more of the just real food. Raw ingredients like carrots and celery, the things you see on the front of that article are really, really big.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting, and we'll be talking more about that with some folks in the future about, you know, school lunches and things, and serving more vegetables and just simple kinds of things that we can do. That reminds me, though, of a new trend that's going on out there, preparing beans underground. That's a new story that we need to talk about. Sometimes people eat beans and want to go underground.
Right.
For obvious reasons. Hey, let's talk about our guests that are coming up, okay?
That's right.
Let's talk about Linda and Anthony Lowry and God's Outreach and the fact that we have such food waste in this country and they're trying to do something
you know,
about it.
organic, all natural, frozen, canned, processed, we're throwing away 40% of our food in this country. And, you know, when we talk about programs like God's Outreach, what we're going to right now, you know, it's a lot to learn about people that just need to eat food, not just organic and all natural.
All right. Well, we'll be back after break with Food, News, and Chews.
Why do chefs choose Lyons Farm beef?
When I get things in the kitchen, I can tell like right off the bat. After I get done searing it or put it on the grill or roasting it or baking it or frying it or whatever I'm going to do, the second I cut into that thing, whether it's you know, the resistance on the fork or just the way it kind of slides across the knife, it's got to be right on from the get-go. And it seems like this beef does that every single time.
Lyons Farm Beef, available at Critchfield Meats and LyonsFarm.com.
Jeremy, the restaurant startup business is challenging. We should know.
That's right. In business since 1954, Seaworth Superstore is the place to begin. Reconditioned equipment and the lease to purchase program can get you in and going in no time.
Seaworth, with its dedicated staff, can help you plan with CAD services that provide a successful layout.
Dan and his team will help you fill in the blanks with everything from soft drink machines to exhaust hoods. Come to Seaworth Superstore and make your dreams come true.
Located at 1403 Versailles Road and SeaworthSuperstore.com.
Here's a way to give 2 holiday gifts for the price of 1. Serve food that's prepared with ingredients made or grown in Kentucky. We call it Kentucky Proud, and that's your assurance of quality. When you buy Kentucky Proud, you also brighten the holidays for a Kentucky farm family. Find gift and recipe ideas at KentuckyProud.com. Kentucky Proud is funded in part by the Kentucky Agricultural Development Fund and is a program of the Kentucky Department of Agriculture. James R. Comer, Commissioner.
Advertise your product or service on shows like this one. Contact Media 7 Broadcasting today. Call 859-317-4565 or email sales@m7bg.com. Reach potential new customers in the Louisville, Lexington, and other central Kentucky areas. Get your new ad produced for free by Media 7's audio and video professionals. Call 859-317-4565 today and let Media 7 create a marketing plan for you.
Today's shoppers are informed. When shopping for the family meal, today's shopper chooses Critchfield Meats for fresh, all-natural quality meats guaranteed. Make the right choice and visit our family before you feed yours. Critchfield Meats, the meat specialist, family owned and operated since 1969. That's a great A choice, folks.
A European experience without leaving Lexington at Azure Restaurant and Patio. For lunch or dinner, enjoy excellent service and truly unique cuisine that will delight your senses. Unwind with award-winning cocktails or conduct business over a memorable meal. Every occasion is special at Azure Restaurant and Patio, located off Harrisburg Road in the Beaumont Center.
Hi viewers, we're here with Food News and Chews. It's a new show about food and community. We have some great guests here, by the way.
Right.
We are here with these incredible people, and we have been with the mayor here, Jim Barnes.
Yes.
He talked to us a bit. He's on the board of your group, but we want to introduce you because you're very, very important and doing some phenomenal work. It's Linda and Anthony Lowry with God's Outreach. And Jeremy, tell them where we are. This
Guys,
is so
we're in
neat.
Richmond, Kentucky. This is the Madison County Food Bank, and it's an incredible organization. I can't wait to hear about more how it got started. But, you know, especially during the holiday season, we talk about the need for food and just the need for giving. I was looking at some of the stats, and we, as Americans are throwing away 40% of the food we produce in this country. And, you know, and we talk, in Sylvia, on this show, like I said in the last segment, about, you know, things like growing local food or organic food and all natural. And those are really, you know, hoity-toity terms when you start looking at, or it's just dwarfed by the fact that there's people in need. That people, you know, just need food.
True need.
So
because that's a controversy too.
That's right. When it comes down to just needing to be able to eat or get back on your feet, this is a really big thing. And this is the type of thing in your community that gets people back on their feet.
Look, I see some cans of some really good food over here. Chewy fruit snacks. We have everything. Can we get some of those chewy fruit snacks? sorry, viewers. And we have some drinks here and such as that. Paper towels, everything.
Are you trying to get me to do a meal right here?
Yeah, and mix in some Twinkies maybe. Sure. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I know, and they've gone away. But let's go ahead and talk a little bit. Let's go at the beginning. How long you've been in this business, why you got involved, Linda and Anthony. Tell us about it.
We actually started this particular ministry 13 years ago. We've been since June the 3rd in this facility, this new facility. We're 12 years at our old facility. It was a storefront out on the Eastern Bypass. We started through ministry outreach. Basically, it's been a dream of my wife, and she can talk on that in a minute maybe, but it's been a dream of hers since she was a small child. But I did a bus ministry for 7 years and went out into the different areas, and while doing that, we found out there was a lot of need. So it kind of opened the door to start a food ministry. And we learned more about the statistics as we got involved as far as there's any given time, there's 14,000 people in Madison County at or below poverty level.
So how many families a month are you helping or reaching directly through giving food donations?
In our walk-in pantry, 3 days a week, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday from 9 to 12, we provide 1,300 to 1,400 families with food each month. Normally averages around 80,000 pounds of food. But we also got our backpack ministry that we do for 14
children.
schools
when
also.
Children go hungry.
How does that work with the backpack program?
The backpack program was started about 6 years ago. We got a call from one of our local schools on a Monday morning. We actually had a child there that had passed out. She hadn't eaten since a Friday lunch at school. And getting involved with the schools at that point, we found out that this was really a real problem, you know, in this area and in all areas, I understand. So we took that as an opportunity to open up to all the schools the availability that we would put food in backpacks with the community's help and support, and we would provide that food for those children Friday evenings.
And they can take
they
it home
left
over the
school.
weekend.
Get them through the
That's
weekend.
fabulous.
That's great.
Absolutely.
But you said 14,000 people in Madison County alone, and Kentucky
right.
ranks like in the top 5, like really high in terms of hunger. In those statistics, I think are 2010, but you know they're pretty relevant today. What have you seen over the years? Tell us about the beginnings. I know that there was a special person who was really involved, I think, Linda, in getting this going. And that's what it takes, is that kind of leadership. But tell us a little bit about that beginning and then what you've seen as you come forward.
Well, like Anthony said, we really have always had the ministry to reach out to people. And I was kind of the joke to everybody, if you need food, go to Linda's, because it was under my beds and in my closets and everywhere. And I did come from a home where my mother really was a cook. And she knew how, when I would look in the kitchen, there was nothing there that I could see, but we would always have a nice meal on the table.
Yeah.
And
you
the
wanted
art
everybody
of
else
that,
to have
I would love for everyone to be able to know how to do that. And but the starting of it was a friend of mine. She helped us get our 501c3, and we saw real quick that the need was bigger than we could ever have imagined. It was much bigger than we could.
Scary almost.
Yeah, it was. So Anthony had 20 years of warehouse management.
Oh, how neat.
And
how
he really
handy.
did. He had 20 years of warehouse
But I
management.
imagine that's a pretty important skill.
You could not do it without that skill.
Yeah.
I mean, it takes everybody, and that's how we brought it to where it is, the whole community of what can you do and what are you good at. How would you like to give? Because not everybody can give in the same capacity.
That's right.
But we also have a senior program with supplemental food for our seniors.
And that's so important, and we have a growing elderly population without the safety nets.
Yeah, a lot of your seniors, we found out a few years ago in assisted living, for example, a lot of these seniors, at least the last week before their income actually come in, their money's actually come in at the end of the month, first of the month, whatever, they actually did without food for up to a week.
You know, that's an important thing to talk about too. We heard this past campaign and also in the news, you hear a lot about the type of person that might need a help, and some people saying that I'm not going to help these people, that they don't need help. We talk about handouts a lot in news and politics now. Can you tell us a little bit more about the type of person that needs this kind of help? We talked about seniors and children, but I think there's more to it. It's pretty broad scope.
And what do you have to know about them, or can they just come in?
We're pretty much on a trust basis of how we operate. They need to be a resident of Madison County, and they need to fall within income guidelines. And other than that, that's all they need. The different people that walks in here is just amazing. We hear and see everything. We average around 130 to 150 families each day that we're open, in our walk-in program. So, just to group all those together and think you're going to get a picture of the poor, you can't do it. There's so many different instances of job loss, family troubles, of different things that's happened that you just can't imagine. When we first started this ministry, I looked up one day, and we hadn't been operating probably a few months, and I looked up and seen a gentleman in line that used to be one of my managers 30 years ago in manufacturing. and he had lost his family. He had fallen on hard times. He lost his job. He had medical issues. You know, so there's a lot of things that comes into play that, you know, it's very, very unfair for people to think that they understand. What they need to do is come to a food bank and get firsthand experience.
Tell us how to get here and how people can get involved in your
Well, we operate solely just about 100% on volunteers. At any given time, just here, not counting our backpack ministry, it takes 100 people at any time to keep this moving. So the volunteer opportunities are ongoing, and all they need to do is get in touch with the food bank. They can call at 859-623-2220, or they can go on godsoutreach.com and get that information. But we welcome volunteers.
You are amazing people. And we want to thank you so much for everything that you're doing here in Madison County. And you've been listening to Food News and Chews.
Why do chefs choose Lyons Farm beef?
It's consistent, it's delicious, it's got great tenderness, and it's really good for you. This nutritional element of making healthy animals for healthy eating is a big component about why their beef is so delicious. I feel so lucky to be a chef in Kentucky because the best way to express care for someone is to make them something to eat. I get to do that every single day.
Lyons Farm beef, available at Critchfield Meats and lyonsfarm.com.
Here's a way to give 2 holiday gifts for the price of 1. Serve food that's prepared with ingredients made or grown in Kentucky. We call it Kentucky Proud, and that's your assurance of quality. When you buy Kentucky Proud, you also brighten the holidays for a Kentucky farm family. Find gift and recipe ideas at KentuckyProud.com. Kentucky Proud is funded in part by the Kentucky Agricultural Development Fund and is a program of the Kentucky Department of Agriculture. James R. Comer, Commissioner.
Advertise your product or service on shows like this one. Contact Media 7 Broadcasting today. Call 859-317-4565 or email sales@m7bg.com. Reach potential new customers in the Louisville, Lexington, and other central Kentucky areas. Get your new ad produced for free by Media 7's audio and video professionals. Call 859-317-4565 today and let Media 7 create a marketing plan for you.
A European experience without leaving Lexington at Azure Restaurant and Patio. For lunch or dinner, enjoy excellent service and truly unique cuisine that will delight your senses. Unwind with award-winning cocktails or conduct business over a memorable meal. Every occasion is special at Azure Restaurant and Patio, located off Harrisburg Road in the Beaumont Center.
Viewers to Food News and Chews, and Jeremy, yes. I came prepared.
Yes, I love the apron. You know, it really brings out
and
the
eating
style.
dots. I hope those aren't in my teeth.
Well, great, guys.
What are you doing here today?
This is our cooking segment on Food News and Chews.
Well, look at
So
you.
this is the chew part. So
chew is important.
That's right.
In this show.
So everybody talks and everybody loves those, you know, sugar baked hams everybody gets in the store. Well, I'm going to show you how to make one for about half the price. And what we did was went to Critchfield Meats, one of our great sponsors, also a great little butcher
yummy.
shop. Got one of their smoked spiral cut hams. And this thing is delicious by itself, but with a few little tricks, you can make this an awesome centerpiece for your holiday meal.
Are there any Twinkies in this?
No, we got rid of those completely. So anyway, to start this recipe, what we need to do, Sylvia, is take honey, and want to use a local honey too. It's always better to use a local honey. It helps with your allergies. You know?
Yeah, that's what they say. It'll be good.
So a little bit of honey, and I'm not measuring this stuff. There's really no reason to, but a big batch of honey here. And then I've also got some local apple cider. This is out of actually southern Indiana. So a little bit of apple cider in there. And Sylvia, I'm going to have you mix these two together.
You're kidding me.
I'm going to talk, I know.
I actually have to do
cooking.
something like this?
Yep, so move those together.
Tricky.
I know.
Watch this, viewers. You won't see this too often, or much more complicated than
One thing we say, if Sylvia can do this, you guys can do this. So anyway, so we got this little mixture of apple cider and also honey. You could add some other things if you want to it. Some you know, Kentucky distilled things if you want, but you know, we'll keep ours simple. Right.
Never.
And now what we're going to do is we're going to take our honey and cider mixture, Sylvia, and we're going to paint this onto the ham.
I
So it's just like a, it's like a,
it's like I get to be in kindergarten, which is my level.
That's right. That's just like a, what do you want to say, a hardware store paintbrush.
Yeah.
It's fabulous.
So like I paint all over this big guy.
Right, and you see you kind of get in the cracks, and you can really get crazy with it too. If you mix this up really good, just like pour it all on top. Really? And just glaze that ham up and paint it. And make sure you get lots of the stuff in the cracks. We're gonna throw this guy in the oven. It's already cooked, but we're gonna make it better.
Okay.
We're gonna throw it in the oven for about 30 minutes, about 400 degrees, and get it kind of glazed up. Then I'm gonna show you the magic on how to make that really crispy crust.
Jeremy.
Yes.
Voila.
I know the magic of TV, our ham is nicely glazed. You want to go about 30, 40 minutes, get a little bit of brown on there, make it glisten and shine. If you look, here's the leftover cider and honey on the tray. And we're just going to kind of...
I had a bite, by the way, and that juice was really good.
It is really good. Repaint it, make sure the juice gets...
It was honey and what else?
Apple cider, all local. And you want to paint it, make sure that that honey and stuff gets nice in the cracks, because you don't want that nice glaze in between where the ham slices are. Yeah. And then the next part that makes it really magic and easy, just like that sugar baked ham, is this little spice mixture. It's a lot of fun to make. Yeah. So here we go. We got a little bit of cinnamon. We've got some nice clove, holiday spices, right?
How do you know to do all those?
Well, you know, these are classic holiday spices.
So
cinnamon,
smart.
Clove, nutmeg. Yeah, that's what, I'm just so smart. And then we got a little bit of nutmeg here. And then I've got some ground ginger, and then lots of onion powder. That makes it good.
Yummy.
Now, I also have some curry powder, and that kind of, it's my own little twist. And I know people are like, Jeremy, dude, I'm not putting curry powder on my ham, but trust me, try this out. It's really good.
We trust
you.
So
we've got that, and then about 2 cups of sugar for a whole ham is what you want. So that's going to go in there, and we'll mix that up, Sylvia. And we've got this kind of like fun little sprinkle with lots of holiday spices and sugar that we're going to glaze onto the ham.
Delicious for the holidays, too.
A moment. So we get this light sprinkle on the ham, and here's the cool part. We have to take out the old hardware torch. And you want to get one of those, not those creme brulee torches, but a hardware torch from like Walmart.
Folks, try this at home.
Need a little sinister laugh.
Hey, this is like barbecue.
That's right.
The grill brought indoors.
So we're going to lightly glaze this ham. And see how I put just a little bit on there at first? That's key. See how it's kind of, you see it melt and glisten there?
Oh, yeah.
Now we're going to keep adding more of the sugar and keep glazing.
This could be like entertainment at on Christmas Day, right?
And you could,
the
if
kids
you want
will
to
be all like,
glaze the ham up.
Be careful with
and light the cinnamon and rosemary on fire and bring it out. The smell just drives people crazy. It's awesome.
I love it.
So we'll keep glazing and keep roasting. See how it just kind of crackens up. That's going to give you that crunchy.
I love that crunchy stuff that you have to pay a ton of money for.
Right.
And you can do it at home, folks.
So Sylvia, here is our Jeremy baked ham. Or
I could lick that thing. It looks so good and smells so good, Jeremy.
I know. Go to Critchfield, get a spiral cut ham. It's going to be about 40 or 50 bucks. Yeah. Do this to it instead of spending about 80 to 100. There you go. There's your Jeremy baked hams.
Dad, get in from the grill.
Yes. But this has been your episode of Food
Christmas.
News and Chews. We're here at the God's Outreach Kitchen. It's a great organization, and we really appreciate you watching, and happy holidays. Enjoy the ham.